Hello, everyone. Welcome to October's Learning Loft monthly webinar. Thank you for joining us. So today we have a special guest speaker that I will introduce in just a moment. For those new to our Learning Loft, just kind of a brief recap. These are essentially educational webinars that we hold monthly, and we try to pivot between having educational trainings on the Joist AI platform, as well as inviting guest speakers and industry experts to come in and talk to us about AI, things happening in the industry, and that's what we'll be focusing on today. For those of you who haven't met me, my name is Amanda Seeley. I'm head of marketing and growth here at Joist AI. And so a few housekeeping items before we get started. We will have both our chat as well as our Q&A section open. So if you have questions for our guest speaker, please put them into Q&A, or if you have questions that come up about the platform or what have you, put them in the Q&A section and we will make sure to get those answered. But for general engagement, you are absolutely welcome to use chat as well. We want to make sure that we're encouraging conversation. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So we have our special guest here, Kristin Kautz. We're very excited for her to be here. She will be going through AI Without the Overwhelm. A little bit about Kristin, but I want her to introduce herself as well. We've known Kristin for about as long as we have been in business. She has been a great friend to the brand. She has been a great friend to the industry. Kristin has about 30 years, maybe more experience in AEC. She's got her CPSM. She understands business development and marketing within the AEC industry. She considers herself an AI enthusiast, but I think it goes deeper than that. She's kind of one of the OGs.
Yeah.
When it comes to AEC marketing in AI. And so without further ado, Kristin, I'll let you take it from here, but we're really grateful that you're here today and we think this is going to be a great session. So thank you for joining us.
I am so excited to be here. So that was a great introduction. Y'all are going to get the presentation as well. You can see my information right here. I actually put my phone number out there. You can text me. You can email me. If you text me, tell me who you are, right? Because we don't want to respond to people. But Amanda, are you going to stay on the call? Because it is hard for me to present to myself. So I would like to just be able to see your face if that's okay.
Absolutely. I can
Right.
absolutely do that. I will put myself on mute though.
Oh, perfect. Okay, yeah. So I have about 60 slides. For those of y'all who know me, I talk really quickly and I cut this, baby down. So we'll see what happens. But please put your questions in the Q&A and then they will stop me if you have a question about the slide that I'm on. So let's just go ahead and get started. Let's see why my clicker's not working here. Nope. Here we go. All right. First of all, we're going to start just with a mind perspective, kind of shift. So AI, again, if y'all have seen me before, if you haven't seen me before, my whole philosophy about AI is that it's like creates a super you. So you're putting on this cape and you become Superman or Superwoman or Wonder Woman, or I'm drinking a Wonder Woman cup, so it's the theme of the day. But you use AI to be just a better version of yourself. But the first thing is you have to change how you think about this technology. I say it is not tech because people are like, oh, AI is just the new internet, or it's just like a new piece of software, and it's not like that. So we have to rethink about how we think about AI. It is like air at this point. It is top to bottom, side to side in your organization. It's everywhere. And just like old technology, our firms have spent a gajillion dollars on old tech, right? And people are like, oh, I'm too busy to use it, and then you spend all this money and all this time and all these resources, if you can see my hands, a big amount of investment, and you get very little return. AI is different. You give it some knowledge, some resources, and some money and some time, and you get a huge investment. And I think you're probably seeing that, especially with Joist. So you have to think about this technology. It is absolutely different than anything we've ever seen before. The other part is You have to think about yourself differently. You have to change how you see your value and your purpose. And this is a really hard question for people. I asked this in an audience, I'm like, who actually has a purpose or a value for themselves? And in an audience, this was 2 weeks ago, of 150 leadership in our industry, I would say maybe 20% raised their hand. And it's not to be disparaging, like there's no shame in this. It's a really hard question. But you have to think about yourself and your role in your firm as something more than just tasks. So for a proposal person in marketing, if you just think that your entire job is sending emails, rewriting text, creating images, making a pretty layout, AI can help you with that. Obviously, Joyce can help you with that. But if your purpose is redefined as you are a revenue generator for the company, you are the last piece in a long business development cycle, and that's your value, then AI can't replace you, right? AI is just going to make you better at that thing. So to be the better version of you, you can use any tool you want. My mission is to help people and teams and firms move forward with AI. It doesn't matter if I do that on screen like this, if I do it in person, if I do it through a blog post, if I do it through a training course, if I use AI to help me, if I use a person to help me, that's my value. It also will cycle back around to your entire firm, because your firm has to think about you and its employees and its entire mission value driven as well, because we will no longer be hourly rate. So we have to really think about purpose. This is the woo-woo part of the presentation, I say, but it is absolutely essential that you have a purpose to meet us at the starting line, because I don't want you to be afraid of AI. And people who are afraid of AI, they are seeing themselves as tasks and not as value. So I really hope all of you out there think of yourself with purpose and value. And if you want to call me or get on a discussion with me, I'll give you a pep talk. We're going to champion and cheerlead you up. So what is it, right? Very simple. I always do a primer. We're obviously talking about AI. It used to be called narrow AI or generative AI. We're so far past it. But Bill Gates in March of 2023 defined it as a computer model or a computer program that solves a very particular problem or provides a particular service. So when ChatGPT hit the world in November of 2022, it did chat very well. It did text in, text out. Very simple, which is why it was called narrow AI. Again, so far past it right now. I define it as any kind of computer model or program that helps us humans to augment or automate our tasks, delegate them out, so that you and I can get to the more important stuff. And the more important stuff is anything that you want to define as more important. It can be ideas that you have, causes that you care about, people that you care about. We have a life. But anything that you define as that important stuff, we're going to get our time back so we can go do those kind of things. In our industry, in AEC, we are relationship driven. I have heard that for 30 years. We are people. Our people make the difference. So we're going to be able to spend it with mentoring the younger generation. We're going to be able to spend it with our peers. We're going to be able to spend it with our clients. Wow, that's a thought. But currently, right now, AI excels at generating code, text, image, video, chatbots, and voice. And it can also read those same things, and I'll give you a demonstration in a little bit. But this is how it works. So very complex, but not complicated to understand. You have to give it, number one, you have to give it instructions. You have to tell it what to do. You have to give it direction. That is usually called a prompt. Two, it's going to go out and look for information from a data source or a knowledge base. Three, it's going to be trained to look at your directions or prompt and look at that knowledge base based on a computer programmer, software engineer. And then it's going to optimize an output, which is really just give you an answer. So if you see this and you see the words in yellow, generative pre-trained transformer, that's what GPT stands for. So when ChatGPT was launched, again, it was this process in chat, text in and text out. So as the pace of AI is impossible to keep up with. Before it was advancing every week or every couple of weeks. Now it's every second. But even the people in our industry, in this space who talks about AI, they're evolving the vocabulary around it. So the next step up is artificial general intelligence, AGI, also called strong AI. So past 3 years, narrow generative AI, now we're strong AI. This is AI computer programs that match generalized human capabilities, cognitive skills. It looks like it uses reason, can solve puzzles, and has strategy, obviously represents huge amounts of information. There's a rumor on the street that AI has consumed every bit of data that has ever been created in the history of humankind. So there's that, huge amounts of knowledge. Communicates, in natural language. All of this is happening. Bill Gates, in that same article in 2023, said that this would never be possible. The founder of basically modern computers said that this would never be possible. And yet, 3 years later, it's already happening. You can call it baby AGI if you want, but these assistants and these autonomous agents and agentic workflows are happening right now. Now, I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention ASI, which is artificial superintelligence. This is the AI that surpasses human capabilities and intelligence in every single regard. It looks like the AI we see in movies. Absolutely. Those robots and computers that we see in movies that represent AI. It looks like they are this ASI is when it hits a singularity, when it becomes self-aware. It looks like it's sentient. It has a consciousness. It can do things on its own completely autonomously and keeps learning. And of course, these are all my favorite movies on the left-hand side. We could talk about that. Get on my calendar. We'll talk about AI movies all day long. I'll have a cocktail for sure. Current AI founders, the big ones, in the big companies, they say that there's maybe a 25% chance of this ever happening. Elon Musk says it's happening in 4 years. Take that as you will. But right now, at this moment, just so nobody is really freaked out, the ASI exists purely in a theoretical discussion. There are no systems that approach this today. It may look like these systems are human. ChatGPT, when you talk to it, it laughs. It sounds like it's breathing. I mean, it sounds like you're talking to a person, but you are not. We are nowhere near that. And as I said before, we need more data to even get to this step, and we're out of data. So just know that this is not a possibility. In all the movies that you're seeing about ASI, we are just not near it. So what did start this? November 30th of 2022 is obviously when ChatGPT was launched upon the world, and not August 29th, 1997. Amanda, do you know what happened in August 29th of 1997?
I do not.
Okay, I'm hoping somebody in the chat, knows it, but Terminator. So that is the day. So Skynet was launched, and 3 months later, it became self-aware. That was called Judgment Day, and that's Terminator. So we're nowhere near this. We're nowhere near this. So this is ChatGPT. It is currently multimodal, which means it can actually remember, see, hear, and talk. And this is just what it looks like when I pull it up on my phone. And I'm going to show you a video next. I hope the sound it's just a background sound, but I'm going to talk over it. So I'm hoping it's low enough to hear me. Yeah, it's super low. Okay, so a demonstration of a video. We're taking a picture of our bike seat, our bike. We're uploading it to ChatGPT. We're asking it to help us lower our bike seat. And of course, because I said it's multimodal, ChatGPT can see that image. So it says, sure, to lower your bike seat, here are the 5 steps. First step is to find the quick release lever or the bolt. Like, what's that? So we take a picture of the bike thing, we circle that thing on our bike seat, and we're like, is this the lever? Is this a quick release lever? ChatGPT, again, remember, it can see that image. So it says, no, that's not a lever, it's a bolt. You're gonna need an Allen wrench in order to loosen it. So we upload a picture, our PDF of our bike manual, we upload a picture of our toolkit, and we're like, here's the manual, here's our toolkit. Do I have what I need? Do I have the right wrench to loosen this bolt? And of course, you already know where this is going, because I wouldn't be doing this. This was disappointing. It says, absolutely, you have the right tool. It's in the left section of your toolbox. Here's this, it's called DeWalt, and you need to find the 4mm Allen hex wrench. So this, when I show this to people, this is usually mind-blowing, and they're like, oh my God. I mean, there are gasps in the audience, because it's like, wow, this feature has been around for 2 years. 2 years. So if you have the free version of ChatGPT, I'm probably going to get you to upgrade it, but you have been able to do this for 2 years. I use this feature all the time. Easy peasy. AI, though, is not just ChatGPT, right? It is not a single piece of software. So like when you talk about AI and somebody's like, oh yeah, we're using AI. My next question is, what are you using? Like what? Because there are infinite numbers of companies, apps, extensions, programs, platforms, integrations. It is, remember, we're in marketing, systemic, seismic, pervasive shift. Every role in your firm is going to be affected, top to bottom, side to side. Even people in your firm who are like, I'm not going to use it, or I've pushed them into early retirement. They're like, I'm just going to go fishing. There is still a role for them. There is still a role for everybody. It's evolving again every single second. I'm begging you with this course to please get familiar with AI in your daily routine. And I would say, because all of you are Joyce clients, you're already doing this. So at the end of this presentation, I'm going to, you're already way ahead of the curve. And if you can imagine it, it's already coming. I will put a really good plug in for Joyce right now. What I think is one of their best culture is that they are always improving. And I know for a fact that if you have an idea about something that you want to see on the Joyce platform, they are absolutely open to it, having those discussions, and probably Rohan's like, I'm going to go build it right now. I'm just going to go off and build it. So I know that to be true, which is why I really like Joyce. It's not just their technology and their AI, it's their people and their culture that is just always improving. So how do we map this to your work? So, we give this presentation and it's like, well, how do we get started? So again, remember, I'm a marketer at heart. I use lots of visuals and analogies about AI, but my favorite one is about it being a marathon. It is a marathon that never ends, right? So it's a Mobius strip of a marathon. You may actually start running this race and you may wake up one day and be like, I don't think I've made any progress, but I promise you have. It's just not linear. There's no end to this thing, which is really hard for people to understand. You don't know the route. It's always changing. You don't know your pace. You don't know if your competitors are ahead of you, behind you, below you, above you. Your clients are definitely behind you. But you're most likely blindfolded as well. It's like, where am I? What am I doing? It's very chaotic to have this much noise and progress being made so quickly. I keep repeating, there's a place for everybody. But what I know to be true is that the runners in this race are just curious and forward thinking. They stay curious, their leadership is curious, and they have an aptitude for experimentation and wanting just to be better. Again, putting on that cape, AI plus you equals super you. You can walk, run, or sprint a marathon. A lot of the tools that I talk about are free, trying for low risk. You can also run it. We won't even talk about those. Just walking, just get in this race. And again, because you are already a client of Joist AI, then you're already running. You're already in this thing for good. So I'm really proud of that. So again, why do we start? We start with the why. We don't start with the I need AI. Everyone is out there saying, I need AI. What tool do I use? And I'm like, everybody take a deep breath. We start with the why. And obviously this is just the funny cartoon, who are we? It's everyone, not just CEOs. What do we want? AI, AI to do what? We have no idea. We have no idea, but we want it. And we want it right now. So we always start with that middle, AI to do what, right? Again, when I talk about Joist and presentations, I say to the audience that, again, y'all, I always talk about Rohan, construction science from A&M, whoop whoop. And then y'all worked for Hensel Phelps. And so you weren't trying to build AI in a vacuum for no reason. You saw we all know the proposal process is broken. And so y'all built an AI platform that helped for a very specific reason to do something really particular and make something better. So we start with that why. This came out a couple of weeks ago and it was shocking. So MIT did a study and said that 95% of companies who have generative AI pilot projects, they're investing in AI tools for their people to use. 95% of those companies have failed to see a measurable return. Shocking, to my core. People who don't use AI are looking at this and then going, well, see, I'm not going to get a return on it, so I'm just going to sit on my hands like we don't need it. That is not how I read this at all. And the survey actually the showed that the reasoning is because it's the approach, it's the people. There is a lack of starting with your why. There is a lack of understanding about the tool. There is a lack of training and talking to your people about how to use AI and why to use it, getting over, developing your purpose and your value, getting over that fear and inertia, and just training. So this is shocking. And everything that I do, and I know everything that Joyce does, is in that 5%. Like, we are starting with people and a use case that is really definitely needed. And I'm a metrics girl. Like, I don't want to I spend a lot of money on AI myself, and you can best believe that if I'm not getting a return out of it, I end that subscription. Like, we're not in this for just, fun and games. Like, we need to see some real help. So how I ask my audiences, just for individuals out there, ask yourself, what do you do every day? So just start with the tasks, and if you have tasks that you can group into a process, we can use that too. But just like, what do you do every day? Start to write that stuff down. And what do you love to do? We can do more of that, right? We can also be more creative and more productive. And what do you hate to do every day? We can probably get a lot of it off your plate. So you just start with the tasks that you're doing every day to figure out how we can find the AI that can help you. If you don't know what you do all day, there's AI to help you. You can obviously probably use ChatGPT to do this too, but this is a guy that I follow, and his company is smarterx.ai. And if you go into the tools and jobs GPT, you will need ChatGPT Plus to access this, but it's going to help you figure out what you do all day. So I'm a proposal coordinator, and it started to tell me the tasks that I do, how much time I could save by using AI, and obviously saving this time using an AI tool like Joist. But it was spot on. Drafting proposal content, customizing boilerplate, formatting design proposals, gathering and analyzing market data. AI can help you do this. So we look at what you're doing all day, and then we find the AI that can help you do it. And obviously, this was a proposal, again, marketer coordinator, and Joist is a perfect solution for that. For teams that I talk to, I usually ask them what their pain points are, and their pain points are all the same. They want to save time and increase quality, never at the expense of one another. I'm not trying to save time and make the quality worse. These two things go hand in hand: saving time, better quality of your outputs and your products. So that's where we start with, what are they looking to achieve? And we can find AI for that. And also looking at your tech stack. And all that means is all the tech that you're already using, like, I want to know what that is too, to see if there's AI in it, or there's way that we can connect them for using them better. And then obviously, if there's any leadership out there in your firm, then we start with your strategic plan. So what are your strategic goals? AI is not a strategy in and of itself, but it better be in your strategic plan, because it's going to help you achieve those goals you already have. What problems is your firm kicking down the road for years and decades? And that's not a joke. Y'all already know what these problems are, because you've been talking about them for a very long time. I want to know what those are, and those are use cases that we can start around. Those are real, measurable returns that we can start to help fix with AI. So when you start out with your why, like, I want to save time, I want to be more creative, I want higher quality, I want to do more of something, those why designations will also be your metrics for success. So if you want to save time and you use AI, you can actually quantify if you save time. These are all quantifiable. Maybe creativity is a little qualified, but most of them are quantifiable. And I put happiness and morale in here too, because there are actual studies out there that say employees that use AI are happier at work. And I know that a lot of your firms out there spend a lot of money on best places to work surveys. So this is going to make it better. I will also say, again, because Joist is a proposal AI, that dare I say that proposals can actually be funner, right? They won't, like, you say the word proposal and people are like dread, dread, dread. I think they can actually be interesting again because you can get so much of the tedious parts done, and then you get to spend a lot of creative time on strategy and tailoring. And obviously AI has, I mean, Joyce AI has some really good tools for that competitive edge too. But I even think proposals can be funner with AI. So your why can also be your metric. And if you have a why and you use AI and you don't get that metric back, and like I said, we're going to get rid of it. We're going to go try something else. So once you have your why, start with that. Broken record, start with that. We're going to find the what. What time is it? Oh, I'm good. So we look for, after you have your use case, we look for an AI tool, an AI assistant, an AI agent, or an AI automation. First one is we're going to talk about just AI assistants, or they're also called GPTs, which is confusing, so I call them AI assistants as well. Also, there are lots of people out there in the world who are talking about assistants, agents, automation as the same thing. They are using those words interchangeably. I think that we will probably get there in the near future, but for right now, these things to me are very different. Not very, they're different. So I'm just going to tell you what I think those definitions are and give you some examples. So the first one I want to talk about is an AI assistant. Okay, so you remember that process. You give it instructions, goes to look for knowledge, trained to do so to give you an answer. You are controlling that whole process. It is sitting right next to you. Just think of it like an assistant sitting next to you. And it is sitting there waiting. It has rules in it. It's sitting there waiting for you to engage it. So you've created a process, you're controlling the whole thing, sitting over here, just waiting for you to start to engage with it. Again, we're going to control this whole process in an assistant or a GPT. So although not sexy to look at, it is so amazing what it does. But this is an example of an AI assistant or a GPT within ChatGPT. If you have the plus version, you can absolutely build them today. But here's one example of one that I built. I built a Data Analyst Pro, which means that you can see, this is on the, if you can see two toggles on the top, create and configure. If you don't even know what you want to build and you're like, I don't know what to do, you can click on create. And there's a chat bot there that helps ask you questions, and you just talk to it like a regular person, and it's going to help you build whatever you need. After you do that, you can click on configure, and you can see the actual fields where it filled in information, and you can edit any of this. All of this is editable, if that's a word. You don't have to start over. You just keep iterating this thing to get better and better. Again, Data Analyst Pro. How do we look at our data? How do we look at our revenue and our financials and our headcounts and all this stuff and make sense of it and find out insights? This is how you can do it. So you can see the instructions right there at the top, super short, no coding involved, no lengthy novella. This GPT or AI assistant specializes in analyzing data from a large professional services firm. It provides an in-depth analysis and a breakdown of key business metrics like revenue, headcount, financials. Each analysis, so I'm giving it instructions. Each analysis includes a summary paragraph that simplifies the information, and I'm telling it how to answer me as to be comprehensible at a 10th grade level, right? So I'm giving it all these instructions of that process. Only use the information in your knowledge base. And be straightforward and neutral when you give me these answers. So then you can see down in the knowledge side, on the left-hand side, I guess I could use my mouse because y'all can see that down here. I have uploaded, some PDFs, some Word documents, some Excel spreadsheets. So in my previous firm, they had a huge spreadsheet, still looking at that kind of stuff, looking at very specific fields in order for them to, benchmark how they're doing in their firm. But here AI is going to do it for you. So we upload all this stuff, and then you can see on the right-hand side that this is what it looks like for a user, and you can just start asking, here's the prompt box at the very bottom. You can just start asking things of your data. So that is a all-in-one like AI process, again, an assistant or a GPT. I've created this thing. It's just going to live in my ChatGPT platform. It's going to sit right next to me, and when I want to go engage with it, it's right there waiting for me. These are some other ones that I built just to keep your mind going. I'm going to skip the first two. So One of the ones I just built recently is an AI assessment. And if you would like to take it, I can share the link with you. But it goes through a whole series of questions just to find out if your firm is even ready for AI. A lot of people say, like, we need it, we need it, we need it. And then you don't want to pay for it or invest everything, all of the we all have the same things to barter: knowledge, money, or time. And yet firms out there, and again, I've been doing this for a long time, are like, we need it, we need it, we need it. And I'm like, do you want to invest knowledge, time, or money? And they're like, we don't want to invest any of that. And I'm like, then you're not going to get it. So like, I built this AI assessment tool. I built one that does competitor and client research. So deep diving into information about people and clients and organizations and other firms. Easy to do, so easy to do. And then creating client avatars of those same potential clients so I can talk to these assistants as if they are my potential client. And if you need me to explain that further, you just get on my calendar. It's revolutionary for business development. Anyway, lots of examples. Hopefully this will just get your mind going, but we're going to keep going. So this is Cassidy AI. It's just, I had the free version to test it out. But if you, again, don't know what kind of assistant you want to build, they have a lot of workflows and templates just kind of ready to go. So I tried out their competitor analysis workflow. I put in my own URL, of course, jamideaagency.com. I clicked run workflow, and then it's telling you all the steps and things that it's doing. It's searching online for this URL. It's going to scrape this website. It's going to go look for products and services, extract strengths and weaknesses, et cetera, to give me this report. So it's just an assistant. It's running through that process, waiting, sitting next to me, waiting for me to engage it. And then, of course, because I know my company really well, this is what it came up with after a couple of minutes. Super easy. So that's an assistant, right? So that is what an AI assistant does. So now AI agents or agentic workflows. This is, you have the same process: prompt, knowledge base, instructions, output, and it's going to sit next to you as well. But when you engage it, it can go off and run and do something for you autonomously, if you will. And I will give you an example because I really think examples clarify these definitions. So an agent, again, it's going to run through this process, but instead of running through this process and waiting for you to give it the next instruction, it's going to give itself the next instruction. So it's going to keep running, keep doing this thing until it comes to its conclusion and gives you an answer. And here's an example. So within ChatGPT, and again, when I talk about ChatGPT, I'm not a paid affiliate. It's just a great AI tool with lots and lots of features for $20 a month. There's Google Gemini, there's Perplexity, there's Anthropic Claude. There's lots of them out there. They all kind of have very similar features. When one comes out with one, the other one says, hold my beer, and comes out with the same thing. But this is just an example. So just know, if you don't like ChatGPT, lots of platforms out there can do this. But within ChatGPT Plus, you can see here's the prompt box. I click on the plus sign. There's agent mode. That's where you start it. So here's an example, very specific to proposals and RFQs. So I spoke at the Houston AIA chapter a couple of months ago, and the woman who asked me to speak said, and she's seen me speak before, and she was like, Kristin, I'm having a really hard time. So in Texas, one of the places you can look for RFQs and RFPs is called Texas Smart Buy. So it posts all of the public-facing, organizations and their RFQs and RFPs. So you can go to one place and you can do a keyword search, and then you have to search through all the stuff, to find the ones that are right for you and how to bid on them. And I was like, she's like, I can't get AI to do that for me. And I was like, you're not building the right AI. She was just looking for an AI tool, or she was just asking a regular AI chat or Gemini to do that. You have got to build an agent. So I was like, I built it for her. So I asked it, my prompt was simply, go into this URL, and I want you to look for current solicitations that use the words marketing, PR, advertising, or AI as keywords, because that's my agency and that's what we specialize in. So you can see here's a screenshot of what it delivered. I went off and did something else, on my computer. You just close it up and, go off and do something else. But it's telling me here that it worked for 42 minutes. So it already saved me 42 minutes of my time. It gave me 2 solicitations that fit my description for keywords. But oh, by the way, friends, it couldn't find anything in Texas Smart Buy. So it took it upon itself to go look in other RFQ, RFP, consolidation sites. And it found these two, and I don't know if you can see the whole screen or not. I got to move you over here. But it found one in BidNet Direct. I didn't tell it to go look there. It just did it. And it also found another one at RFP Mart. It just did it. So something that is, and again, as a marketer, in my very recent past, I would have to go through or have one of my coordinators go through 30 sites a week to look for RFQs. And that's a bigger BD problem, but bear with me. But like looking through these sites for RFQs and RFPs so we don't miss anything. And now you can build an agent that does it. So that's an agent. I did not tell it to go look anywhere else, but it took it upon itself to go through this process and keep going till it found an answer. This is just a fun little thing. So again, you can solidify this idea of an agent. This is still on ChatGPT. I hate to grocery shop. I have Instacart. So I said, please go to Instacart and buy me strawberries, dial soap, and milk. So you can see here, it tells you exactly what it's doing. And the first couple of times you'll want to watch it because it's just fascinating, but it's opening up HEB, which is a grocery store in Texas. It's going to go now to the search bar. It's going to look for fresh strawberries. It's going to type out those words. And then it did, in this case, because Instacart has a username and a password, it did hit a point and say, you need to take control to put in your username and password, which I did. And then I relinquished control back and I went off to go do something else. And 5 minutes later, it's ordering my groceries. That is the definition of what an agent can do. All right. We're all doing okay? Amanda, you all right?
So
You already know this.
if you have a few seconds for some questions, this might be a good
Sure.
spot for it.
Yeah,
And so I'm
absolutely.
going to start. So RJ had a question over here that's very relevant to what you're talking about. Would you
Okay.
be able, so everybody, we're going to be sending out the slides and recording. Kristin, would you be able to share that agent setup of essentially the RFQ agent or any additional information on that?
Literally, okay, of course I will share. Amanda knows this about me. A rising tide raises all ships. I am an open book. You can call me and ask me anything. I will never, ever gatekeep. In this regard, again, this is ChatGPT in the ChatGPT Plus, so the $20 a month version. In the prompt bar, agent mode, it opens it up, right? It's just a new prompt bar, but it has agent mode in it. And I really just said, I promise you, I gave it the URL for Texas Smart Buy and said, here's the URL. Burm, burm, here it is. I want you to go look for solicitations that use these 4 keywords, marketing, PR, advertising, and AI. I also said, I don't want solicitations that are closed. I want them to be open. I want to know that I can submit. I don't want them to be already passed. Easy as that. And then I pressed, like the go button, whatever that is, the little arrow that says, go off and do your thing. That's as easy as it is. Easy. You cannot break AI. You cannot break it. So your job is to open it up and experiment as much as you want and push the envelope as hard as you can to figure it out. It is truly about throwing you in the I'm not even gonna say deep end because there's nothing overwhelming. It seems overwhelming, but there's nothing really overwhelming. I'm throwing you in the shallow end. You just stand up. There's this joke in Texas where if you fall out of the boat in the bay, it's like you don't thrash around, you just stand up. Like that's AI. You just stand up and you're going to be fine. You got to push the envelope. But whoever asked that question, if you get on my calendar, I will walk through it again step by step in a live demo for you, 100%. Any other
And
questions like
And
that?
I'll resend Kristin's information too, so everybody has it available. I've got a
Perfect.
couple more questions, Kristin.
Okay.
So changing topics a little bit. This is a great one. Many people have raised concerns about the environmental impact of AI, particularly the energy demands of training and running
Yep.
large models. How do you
Yep.
balance the benefits of AI innovation and the environmental toll it takes?
Okay. It's a great question. I do an entire module on like data privacy, security, and inherent challenges, and we talk about that. It is astronomical and it is awful. I also have environmental clients. And so they're like, well, what do we like? How do we reconcile this kind of moral, ethical dilemma that we have? And here's what I'm going to say. It's right or wrong. It's just how I feel about AI in general. I believe the good of AI as a whole is going to solve really big problems for humanity. I am one of those that thinks AI is going to cure cancer, cure diseases that have previously been incurable, if humans will let it, right? So again, I'm not talking about politics or big money and how, big pharma and stuff like that. If humanity can get its act together to use AI, we are going to be able to solve really big problems. I believe at some tipping point, AI is going to help us also solve environmental and sustainability and climate change. I believe that to be true. It is in my DNA that it is going to help us with those big problems. That is a problem that I myself, as my person, cannot. I guess I could go out and be a Greta Thunberg. I'm not too old, right? I could put my hair in some pigtails and go do it. Be that, Jane Goodall just died. We could champion, animal rights, et cetera, et cetera. I could be that person. But full stop. I believe AI will solve problems for us if humans will let it.
And then on the topic of energy consumption, so we talked about Skynet already,
Yeah.
if you know where I'm going with this. So, and this is one thing that I think about as well. So with energy consumption, not everybody, but so many of us will say, please, thank you to chat when we're talking to it. How much energy is that taking? Should we drop saying that thing? Should we be worried about Skynet? I will say the individual who asked this question, I know her well, and I don't know if she'll ever break. She's too kind of a person not to say please and thank you. But what's your thoughts on that?
This is a joke. Like I have always said, please, and I've kind of started to drop it lately, but it's not so demanding, but I have said thank you to it. I was like, and I give it feedback, like that's a great answer, or that's not a great answer. This was wrong or awful. But I used to say, when the Terminators come, they'll just scan me and they'll see a friendly and leave me and my cats alone, and that's a joke, but it's serious repercussions. I have friends that are very anti-AI. So these are really big. We have some serious things to think about. I also think in our industry for AEC, I always end my presentations by telling all of you out there, I expect really good things from this industry. I expect much better from our industry. We have creative, really good intended people. And I feel like if anyone is going to lead the way for better buildings, better environment, better humanity, better communities, all of your taglines that say these kind of things, that we make incredible spaces and we care about the places we live, then our industry needs to step up.
Perfect. All right. Well, then let's continue with AI
automation.
automation.
Okay, here we go. All right. So AI, I'm going to run out of time. AI automation. This is really, okay, so Zapier has been around for a long time. Y'all probably understand what automation is. It's just this thing has to happen, then this thing happens, and this thing happens. It's a set of rules that are very, very linear. So you can now create this thing that happens can be an AI. This thing that happens can be an AI. This thing that happens can be an AI. That's how it changes in the AI realm. Here's an example. So this is in Zapier. This is a friend of mine. Some of you out there may know that there's an email newsletter. You can sign up for it. It's called HARO, H-A-R-O. It stands for Help a Reporter Out. So if you are in promotion or awareness or whatever, you should go sign up for it. It's free. Then it collects journalists requests. So a journalist is out there, is looking for a quote or a source or information about an article that he or she is writing, and they put it into this newsletter. So when this newsletter hits your inbox, and 2 or 3 of them come a day, there are like they're like 25 to 50 to, a lot of them, okay? So and you have no way of searching for keywords, you have to scan through all of these 50 queries a day to look for one that you might want to respond to. Liz works for a very small architecture firm. And so she's like, I don't have time for this. I'm going to automate it. So she went into Zapier and she created this automation. It's very simple, super easy to do. Zapier makes it very, very easy. So she has asked Zapier to go through her Gmail account. This also works for Outlook. Goes through her Gmail account to look for any email from Help a Reporter Out. Then she is connected when that AI finds that email, it pulls the entire Haro email into a AI platform called Anthropic Claude. And she has a paid subscription, obviously. Then in Anthropic Claude, she is told it to scour that email, look for keywords, and her firm does restoration, historic preservation, architecture, residential in Louisiana. So those keywords, look for anything that fits those keywords, summarize the query, tell her why it's a good fit, and oh, by the way, also write the pitch to the journalist. So it finds that, and then you can see the third step is it sends this summary email back to her. And this is what it looks like. It looks exactly like this when she gets it in her inbox as a summary. It says, this is the AI that's created this based on my analysis of these recent queries and these emails. Here's the best priority. It's query number 16. It's high. This is why it's a strategic fit for you. And oh, by the way, I've already cut it off the bottom. It says, here's the draft pitch. So she could just copy and paste that email to send back to the journalist. That is an automation. Again, it is steps, and she never has to touch this again. It runs in the trigger to run every day or to scour her emails. So when it finds that email, that's its first trigger. That's an automation. These are just agents I played around with in Zapier. I'm trying to learn it better now myself because I find it to be really good. Obviously, it says pitch ass. I'm really sorry, Amanda. It's supposed to be pitch assistant. It cut it off. It's so embarrassing. Why do I get embarrassed on all these, seminars? But anyway, sorry. I built that same thing, but I'm also really bad at following up on emails. So it's not because I don't like emails. It's just because I'm overwhelmed and we're all drowning in emails. I know, it's funny. I'm sorry. It's so embarrassing. But anyway, so I created an automation that goes through my emails to look for specific leads or requests for speaking or requests for proposals or my consulting services that I may not have already responded to. And I get that every day as an email that says, just check on this. So lots of things you can build. And Zapier also has, I'm in the free version, by the way. And Zapier also has a lot of already templated stuff for you to play around with. Okay. All right, where are we? Okay, so the why, you have you have your purpose, and then you have your why, and then you have your what, and then the how do I use it? We all have the same 3 choices. Find it in an enterprise solution that you already have, buy it off the shelf, or build your own. So the enterprise solutions, our firms give a lot of money to these really big vendors, like a Microsoft, like an Autodesk, like an Adobe, right? And so if you have your why and your use case, and you think, I wonder if, something we already have has this solution, then unfortunately the onus is on you to reach out to your customer service rep or vendor and ask them, here's my use case. Can, Autodesk do this? The answer is no, they're so behind. But anyway, can, Adobe do this or not? And Adobe's come a long way in 3 years, by the way, but check with them, check with your customer service rep. And if they say, yes, we're building AI features, then you say, I want to know what they are and I want to be trained on them, right? So look in the places you already have. If for some crazy reason you call up one of these vendors and they say, we're not doing anything with AI, then that is your red flag, people, to probably look for a different vendor at this moment, right? So look in the enterprise solutions you already have. Second, when you have your use case or your why, somebody out there may have already built it. So again, when I talk about Joist, I'm like, we had a problem. When I ask people what they hate to do all the time, everybody in my audience, I'm like, is anybody thinking about proposals? It's a majority of people. And I'm like, well, here's Joist. They are an off-the-shelf solution. They have already built this solution for us for this proposal process. So that's just one example. So you look for somebody else, if they've already built it, that you can have a membership or a subscription to. So for all of you out there, I don't want to leave you hanging. If you have a use case, then these 3 links are places you can start to look. The AI IQ is just my Notion site. It has like 6,000 tools in it. Use the magnifying glass to search for your use case and see what tools I've already looked at and play around with them. Remember, most of them have subscriptions for free. You just, start to play around. AI and AEC Hub. It is an AI assistant / GPT, so you have to have ChatGPT Plus to access it. But this is a friend of mine who specializes in the technical side and looks for AI in architecture or engineering or construction really specifically. A lot of our tools overlap. He's really specific in that. So if your design teams already have a use case, this is a great place to look. AEC Plus Tech is a website. They're like a clearinghouse they showcase AI startups in AEC, and those startups pay this website to get listed. It's free to search. So for us, we can just go search all the stuff. But that's also a great place to look if your design teams have a very specific use case. So start there. And obviously, a lot of people come to me with their list of like 25 things they do during the day. And I guarantee that ChatGPT for $20 a month can probably handle, 50 to 70% of those whys with all of the features that it has out there at the moment. And I will take a moment also to say here that there is no one AI out there at all that does everything. People are like, oh, I just want one big AI tool. We have to duct tape stuff together at the moment. There's not an all-inclusive, Minority Report AI out there. So people have asked me, well, is it ChatGPT or Copilot in Microsoft 365? And I'm like, they are apples to starships. They're completely different. So I want to make sure all of y'all understand that nothing I'm recommending is replacing any other tools that you have. You are going to have more than one. So just keep that in mind too. Infinite off-the-shelf tools out there. You start with your why and then come find me and we'll talk about the what and the how. And again, when you get this presentation, that is a live link to my calendar. Get on my calendar. We'll talk about this all day long. So again, the third part is, so 1's enterprise, 2 is off the shelf, 3 is build your own. Obviously, you can hire a company out there. If your use case is so unique, then let's go find someone who can build it for you. But I have only met one firm that had a unique use case. So really just, you don't have to spend your money that way. If you're too busy to build an automation or an agent or an assistant, I can help you do that. I mean, I want you to know that you can do it yourself, but I also know that everyone on this call has a real job and is already up to their, ears with work. So hire me. I can build it for you. Or again, you can do it yourself and I can, help you do that too. So we're wrapping up to the seismic shift again, that this is the least advanced that AI is ever going to be. In fact, when we get off this call, I guarantee Joyce has already had a new feature and an update. Like, we are advancing every second, but this is the least advanced AI is ever going to be. All right, I'm going to show this really quick video. And Amanda, tell me if you can hear the sound. Does it need sound?
I don't hear anything just yet.
Okay, let's
Oh,
just.
yep, here goes.
Tell me when you see something that makes sound.
Can you hear it?
I see a speaker, which makes sound.
What is that part of the speaker called?
That is the tweeter. It produces high-frequency sounds.
Give me a creative alliteration about these.
Creative crayons color cheerfully. They certainly craft colorful creations.
What does that part of the code do?
This code defines encryption and decryption functions. It seems to use AES-CBC encryption to encode and decode data based on a key and an initialization vector, IV.
That's right. What neighborhood do you think I'm in?
This appears to be the King's Cross area of London. It is known for its railway station and transportation connections.
Do you remember where you saw my glasses?
Yes, I do. Your glasses were on the desk near a red apple.
They're on your head, Kristin. They're on your head.
What can I add here to make this system faster?
Adding a cache between the server and database could improve speed.
What does this remind you of?
Y'all better know this.
Schrodinger's cat.
All right, give me a band name for this duo.
Golden Stripes.
Nice. Thanks, Gemini.
Okay, so in my previous presentations for the first 2 years, I organized my presentations in past, present, and future. This video was part of the future. This video, I no longer have any future things because everything has come to fruition. Now, when you see this, they do not have the Google glasses out. They had Google Glass like 12 years ago, which they stopped producing, but they don't have the glasses out yet. But everything that you just saw on that phone of it looking and seeing and hearing what you're doing is what I was showing you you can do with ChatGPT Plus in advanced voice mode on your phone right now. Done. You can absolutely do that. So again, future is actually today. And if you have a Google Pixel phone, you can go to Google Labs. Google Labs, I think it's labs.google, is a great place to experiment with some Google applications. But Project Astra is on there and you can download it to your phone. But you can do this with your phone already. This is not secret sauce, people. It's already out there in a $20 membership per month. Okay, this is the least advanced you are ever going to be. Amanda, I'm running out of time, but it's only because we had questions. So I'm going to keep going. This is the least advanced you are ever going to be. First of all, you're already using Joyce. You're ahead of the curve, but I'm really hoping that after this conversation, you have like a better understanding of the possibilities and the opportunities in front of you. I use this curve, right, to ask people where they are right now, but because you're already using Joyce, you definitely are sitting in the early majority, I promise you. You may have some laggards and some late majority in your firm, but after this presentation as well, where are you going to be in 6 months, right? Moving the needle forward on this is going to take very little effort on your part, very little effort just to keep going. And here's the pep talk. It's unbelievable. This is a Gallup poll that came out a couple weeks ago. And again, they did a survey, a sampling of American workers. And what this says is, this graph is like, if workers are using AI like a few times a year, Amanda, I can't with this, just a few times a year, you are in the 40 percentile, right? Just a few times a year. If you're using it a few times a week or more, you're at 19%, just competing with 19% of other American workers. I'm starting to get loud because I get really agitated over this one. If you are using AI daily, which I want you to be using, and that could be Grammarly, for God's sake. It doesn't even have to be something, remarkable. It can be something as easy as Grammarly, because Grammarly is considered AI. Although, I don't know. That's a discussion over cocktails. But if you're using it daily, you're competing with only 8% of American workers. Like, you are in the top, according to this, I consider innovators people who are creating AI, but if you're competing against just the top 8%, I mean, look at that. You are an early adopter to an innovator if you're using AI every day. So good for you. And if you start to use AI, you're just going to be better and better. So it looks like everybody out there is using AI and you're so far behind, and will you ever catch up? Yeah, you can absolutely catch up just by using AI once a week on something you really need it for. Sorry, now I'm screaming. I need y'all to start using it. Rohan, my dear friend and yours, Amanda, founder of Joyce AI, wrote this. This was yesterday or the day before, and I was like, oh my God, did he listen to our conversation about this presentation? Did he steal? He stole my philosophy. we're just aligned. We're very, very well aligned. So you can read this about, is AI going to replace your job? He says it depends, because if you think about your job again as tasks, I will say absolutely, then AI is going to replace that part of you. But you need to think about value. Value lives in judgment, human relationships, human creativity. And he says AI will amplify you, which is the same thing as AI plus you equals super you. So he says at the bottom, instead of asking, will AI replace my job? Ask, how can I evolve faster than AI can automate? And my question is, how can you evolve faster than everyone else? And that's just by using AI once a week, which, we're going to get way past that. But again, faster than everybody else. So when you look out there and think, oh, again, everybody else is so far ahead of me, they are not. They are not. So wrapping up, I want all of you to know today, start with your purpose. Go get your vice, whether that's pizza, ice cream, a whiskey, a cocktail, a glass of Malbec, whatever. Sit outside, have a good think about it and figure out what your real purpose is. Not your tasks that you do all day. That's a different question in this chart, but think about your purpose. And then we're going to start to think about what you do all day and how AI can help you do that better. We think about the what is available to us, which is an AI tool, an assistant, an agent, and automation. Where can you find it? The how. In an enterprise vendor your firm's already paying money to. You can buy it off the shelf or build it yourself. Run faster and farther in this marathon that never ends. Run faster and farther using AI. And the last part is invest in yourself. I know when I speak in front of audiences that a lot of people are getting, their firm is paying for them to be at the places I speak. And I love that. I also know if I say, are you using AI and you're like, no, my firm is really slow and they're not, they haven't really looked into it and I'm just waiting on them. I'd cuss now. I'd just say, fuck that. You have to, sorry, Amanda, fuck that. You have to take care of yourself. You need to invest in yourself. So if your firm is doing it, kudos to you. That's awesome. But if your firm is not doing it, that is not an excuse for you to sit on your hands and, wait. You have to figure out, again, we all barter in the same thing. Who are you going to follow? Who are you going to listen to for the knowledge? What kind of time are you going to expend? And what kind of money are you going to invest yourself? And at this point, again, your firm's already paying for Joyce, which is awesome. Again, get out your $20. It is just like, get out your $20. You can hire me. This is my shameless plug. Obviously, I do consulting, I do training, and I can build things for you as well. And then I launched a course about 4 weeks ago. We're already up to, I think we launched a series, but we already have like 15 courses in it. And this is where I just it's selfish on my part. It's where I dump all my stuff about AI because I'm write stuff about it. I record stuff about it, and you can get a discount if you'd like to join me there. We'd love to have you. And then Amanda, your shameless plug.
Yeah, absolutely. As you guys know, we're doing these series monthly. We did ask everybody on our last webinar, as well as our last product email that we sent out, does anybody have any topics that we want to cover? And we had an overwhelming amount of people say, we want to double down on prompting. And so essentially what Haley and Hiroko are going to go over next month is it's going to be like industry and AEC workflow specific prompting.
Yeah.
All of our users have a great foundation of how to prompt, but what Haley and Hiroko are going to dig into is like, how do we take that AEC marketing workflow specific prompt, but make it better for you. So maybe take it from 60, 70% to 95%, right? 100%. Going over, yeah.
For you.
Right. And so essentially taking maybe some of the most commonly used prompts, or maybe prompts you haven't considered, but should. So I think this is going to be a really great session that all of you, I would encourage you to join. Drop the link in the chat. Kristin, thank you for taking the time today to talk to us. I'm going to double down on team. You're already in Joyce, right? You're clearly using AI. You are ahead of the curve. We are starting to see more in job descriptions. So our customer firms will share job descriptions that they have out building their team, and they're starting to include AI as like a nice to have type of requirement. So that is something that they're looking for and having that in their job description. So again, you guys are ahead of the curve. So keep it up.
Look at you. Also, thank you. I love the jam part, obviously. You know, that's my company name. And I was like, well, I'm going to love that even more. But this is, of course, again, you know where to find me. Don't be shy. I'm here to help. There's my information. If you take a picture of the QR code, then this is going to show up and you click save contact. And then I'm in your contacts forever. And you can just like text me and call me and stuff.
Kristin, one question. Do you have a podcast?
So we, not really. No, I want to say we do, but not like you. You know, you're so elevated and professional. We tried to get one started and, you know, maybe I'll start talking to myself, you know, I don't know, but no. But the best, again, really seriously, the best place to find all the stuff that I do and the things that I record and talk about is on that AI IQ site. So, and for like $100 with a 50% discount, like, please, that's a no-brainer as well. I promise it will be worth your money.
All right. Well, then, everybody here, I will send out the recording and the slides and more information on Kristin. And thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate it. We'll see you next month on the Prompt Jam.
Bye, Amanda.
All right. Bye, everybody.